Hello, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to more Apex news. First of all, thank you all for 20,000 subscribers. I cannot thank you enough. I'll be cutting this ugly hair out soon. I promise you guys that. But I've really been enjoying doing Apex news over the past couple of weeks. And of course, just yesterday, we had Twitch Rivals event number 2, kind of a changed format, but the same prize pools, $50,000 for EU, $50,000 for NA. And of course, we covered North America here. Give you guys some highlights, some problems with the event overall, and just an overall breakdown for all of you. Also on top of that, I'll timestamp down below other stories because some big things are coming to Apex, including a brand new weapon we'll talk about in the back half of the episode. But of course, first off, there was a format change this time around as well. No re-invites this time. A lot of Overwatch players, League players, Fortnite players, and variety FPS guys. So I think a little bit less competitive, but still some great teams out there and some great ways to actually make some extra cash. So alongside the $50,000 NA prize pool, there are all these bonuses out there. The Nessie challenge, actually killing Nessie and then managing to come away with the victory. Kefri's team did that, alongside also the Rainbow Challenge for a few thousand extra dollars as well. If your team managed to get a victory on every single Apex Legend, that means 8 victories on 8 different Legends. Also another prize was awarded for that. So other teams out there choosing to go for the overall win, other teams out there going for challenges. Either way, some great games out there. So let's break it down as well. The format change, it's actually a lot more placement incentive this time around. The first time it was kills were 1 point and wins were 10 points. This time it was kills were still 1 point, but 4th and 5th place were 3 points, 2nd and 3rd place were 5 points, and 1st place was still the overall 10 points. So a lot more placement incentive for a lot of teams out there, and it was very, very surprising because, first of all, the overall big issue this time around that we did not see too much the first time around, it's actually getting progressively worse throughout the event so far, is PC and game crashes. Now, it was actually Daquan alone. You guys might have been watching your favorite streamers as well. Daquan alone throughout round 1. This was also a different format as well. I know a lot of changes out there, so I apologize the first 2 minutes talking about changes. The first time Twitch Rivals actually had the event, it was 4 hours straight of a gaming session. This time it was actually 2 90-minute rounds. Within the first round, Daquan actually crashed 5 times. XQC also crashing before the event even started. I think XQC actually crashed during the event on his own fault. It was his own PC's issue. Alongside that guy, Cypher also got caught in the map itself, stuck in the map. So we saw plenty of teams out there struggle in terms of given such a less amount of time throughout these rounds, 90 minutes per round. Daquan spent at least a solid 10 to 15 minutes of that being out of the game because his PC and game was actually crashing. I do want to post one thing down below for all of you, is a long list and response by Respawn about potential fixes for these PC and game crashes. And I think it's very important. They're doing a great job so far of having fast responses for this. Obviously been a rising issue so far of these game crashes, and again, it'll be linked down below for all of you guys who are experiencing this. Read below, try and of course, you know, the obvious one being update all your drivers. Many, of course, these pro streamers and all these guys already had that issue fixed and it was still crashing. So a few other resolves out there down below. At least Respawn is trying, and we can hope in the future these game crashes will not be an issue. But overall, it was a huge comeback by Scott's Tots. If you guys do not know, the Overwatch guys over there had a huge comeback in round 2 to actually take it away from TSM, take it away from Kefri, XQC. I'm a Cutie Pie coming in 3rd with the League boys was incredibly surprising for me, but overall, it was that team, Scott's Tots, taking the victory just narrowly over TSM. Now, we could argue, like I said previously, they only did so because Daquan spent most of his games actually being crashed out. I think all of his teammates as well, Payne or Calvin. Calvin, by the way, Calvin, otherwise known as Calvin, absolutely went off this event. He was on a tear for that team as well throughout round 1 and round 2. I believe either Payne or Calvin as well also had a few game crashes on top of that, which you could say obviously just within 20 points of first place cost them the overall title, which is sad to see, but either way, those guys came away with some extra prize pool as well. There are many awards out there for the most kills on each legend. I think TSM came away with a few of those prizes as well on top of that. So those are your 1st and 2nd place teams. Alongside them, I'm a Cutie Pie. He got carried a little bit, but his squad or his trio did very well themselves, followed by XQC's team. They had their own struggles. If you guys watched the start of the event was actually pushed back, luckily enough for XQC and his trio, because none of the guys had actually signed up for the event on time. What a surprise. Then it was Kefri and the boys. They actually take 5th place, but they got more prize pool than just about anyone besides the 1st place team. Why so? Because one of the challenges they did do was the Nessie challenge. So clip on screen for all of you, they got to kill Nessie, then they won the same game, and that's what won them a few extra $1,000 just on top of that. And of course, like I mentioned before, there were many challenges out there for the most kills on your legends, and they capitalized on a few of those as well. Now, rounding the list as well, I think we had Dr. Lupo and Courage, of course, Cypher. He got stuck on the map at least one of those games. They just never really got the ball rolling. At the bottom, though, my favorite team, Moist Critical, Jacksepticeye alongside Penguins. These guys did the worst we've seen in quite some time. Of these two rivals tournaments, they rival pretty much just about no one for how much they suffered in terms of how many games they played and how little points they did score. But nonetheless, these guys were insanely fun to watch, and I'll give you guys a quick clip as well. Everyone liked watching these guys. Even though they came in last place, they seem to be having the most fun.
Spitfire. Just for a little bit of context, Moist Critical is not only they didn't last, they've also played the most games. They have played 11 games. Everyone else has played, the second most is 7.
I love it. This is like what in my...
That's because they died.
I think they're also having like the most fun.
Yeah,
I think they're having more fun than
lively.
Everyone else is like, no, we gotta win. We gotta win. And they're like, no, spit me on the Jumbotron. I want to see my name in colored lights.
So all in all, I say a great event. I think Twitch Rivals did a great job. I cannot wait for the first official event where we see the best of the best. I thought of this overnight. You know, I woke up and, you know, I was just thinking, what would be a great idea? Twitch Rivals, double your prize pool, 100K EU, 100K NA for one event, not split between two. Bring back your top 4 teams from each of these events and have them compete head-to-head. Pretty good idea, right? I'd love to see the NRG boys versus the TSM guys. I did mention as well TSM's trio. They actually subbed in Calvin for Hamlins, which I think was a huge improvement for that roster and definitely got them a few additional wins and definitely a lot of extra frags for them. So either way, I'd love to see Twitch Rivals come back and actually have our top teams compete against our top teams for EU and NA. Either way, though, great event. On top of that, very lastly, guys, some other short stories out there. A new weapon should be dropping today. You can expect some gameplay and some talk about that in the near future. Will it be overpowered? I have no idea, but it does seem to be the exact same weapon that Pathfinder uses in the game trailer, and it looks pretty obvious to be an energy ammo weapon as well, which is great to see another energy weapon out there in the game so far with so few of that. Hopefully going to be meaning more ammo in the game as well if you guys like using those weapons, which most of us actually do. So very lastly as well, we have one thing to compare, and kind of you guys can leave your comments down below what you think about this. Speaking of NRG and energy, Dizzy himself actually leaving his own tier of weapons out there, S tier all the way down to the bottom tier of his weapon list, and I think there's a few things out there very debatable. I think you guys, of course, the Ava or the Eva, however you pronounce that, the flatline, you can switch around a few weapons between A, B, and C tier, but either way, I would say a pretty solid list of where we currently stand on the weapon tier list out there. But of course, you guys can leave your comments down below where you differ. But as always, I hope you guys all enjoy this breakdown of the Twitch Rivals Series number 2. Will number 3 come soon, or who else will host a big event out there? That is a big question to answer. But as always, my name is Jake. Hope you guys all enjoy, and until next time, I'll see you then.